This is Lake East Village in Kitgum District, Chwa constituency. The locals here, scarred by decades of LRA rebellion, have put up a brave attempt to rise like a phoenix from the ashes. It was once a place of normalcy where elders gathered to share fabled tales as the embers of a glowing fire illuminated the pitch-black sky. However, in the 1990s, the LRA insurgency left a trail of despair and destruction. After over 2 decades, locals who were huddled in the squalid compounds internally displaced camps began to trek to places they once called home. As locals began to cultivate, the rains pounded the lush green landscape. Men would watch the sun recede behind the hills at the end of the day without fear that the LRA bands will strike. There was a glimmer of hope, but since 2007, a new plague enveloped Northern Uganda. Nodding syndrome, whose first cases were reported in 2000, has killed over 200 children. We drove through a sparsely populated Lake East village, a few kilometers from Kitgum town, to meet Esther Layet. This is the home of 52-year-old Layet, who was abducted by the LRA in 2003.
The rebels had crossed into our compound. They abducted me and my child. They moved with us up to their field.
But the mother of 7 managed to escape from the lair of the LRA 1.5 months later.
They kicked my legs and they became swollen. My child also fell sick. We slept in the bush for 2 days. After the 2 days, I started sneaking away.
Layet is the mother of 7 children, but 2 have nodding syndrome. Her last-born 12-year-old Anna Ayerat has been afflicted for 9 years. I asked her how she got to know that her daughter was having nodding syndrome.
Whenever I served her food, she would struggle to eat.
Layet tends to her incapacitated daughter.
When you put water in a basin, she always wants to push her head inside the basin. She can even fall in the fire stove.
Anne Ayerot was born as a normal child, and she could speak at the age of 3.5 years to 4. But later on, she got a nodding syndrome problem, and that completely spoiled her speech. And for the last 8 years, she has never spoken a word. And not only does she even fail to speak, but she has completely lost her senses. And you can see she can't hear me, she can't understand what I'm saying, or even if it's in her own language.
I feel so painful. Really, it's very painful.
Layet, who is a subsistence farmer, is losing hope that her daughter, who has been robbed of her childhood, will be soon gone. The mother must keep a close eye on Ayerat because she often eats anything she finds which could be dangerous. When she's going for gardening, she keeps her daughter away from fire by locking her in a hut. This is Omunyibul village, Amida sub-county. The family is still mourning Emmanuel Maka, who died in December. His grave is covered with baked bricks and some of his clothes, which bring pain and anguish.
We took him to the hospital with a case of frequent seizures. But from there, he also developed productive cough, and the condition kept worsening, and later he passed on.
His father is frail and is nursing a bout of meningitis. This is the home of 48-year-old Allen Achan in Okidi Central Village, Kitgum. Her husband Jackson Aboka looks disheveled as he tries to cope with the affliction ravaging her daughter, Vicky Achiro, suffering from nodding syndrome. She lays helpless in this hut which doubles as a kitchen.
Achiro Vicky has motor disorder. and that's what crippled her. In addition, she's malnourished due to poor feeding.
The youngster got the syndrome when she was 12 years old and has for the last 5 years been grounded, frail, and mentally perturbed. The 17-year-old first fell sick when she was in Labamida internally displaced camp in 2004, Kitgum district. Achan can't walk or move. Her legs and arms are crippled, which is part of these debilitating effects of this slow and agonizing death for many of the victims.
She can't walk. I have to carry everything out when she eases herself on the bed.
She has also developed pressure ulcers on the back due to lying on the hard surface for long hours. This woman has been married for 29 years.
Achero Vicky got nodding syndrome when she was 12 years, and that means that the mother managed to enjoy seeing her healthy daughter for only a dozen of years, and after that things changed. As you can see, she can't understand. Sometimes it's even hard for her to tell that this is the mother, and this pains her so much because another daunting part of it is that she's the only daughter that her and the husband have and had hopes in.
Stigma is another challenge that victims of nodding syndrome grapple with. Most of them are always abandoned by their mothers. This woman, who is depressed, reveals that her daughter is shunned, yet she has to fend for the family through digging.
I have left everything to God, and if He can help me, that will be good.
However, Achan remains a doting mother, offering her love and care for her sick daughter.
Sometimes I don't stay close to her because I have to look for what to eat. I would have loved to stay near her all the time.
On our third day in Northern Uganda, we drove for over 140 kilometers from Kitgum district to the home of Knight Akonyi in Akidi village, Awere sub-county, Padel district. We were welcomed by a burnt-out fireplace in the compound. This symbolizes a funeral in the Acholi tradition. The family is trying to come to terms with the loss of 17-year-old Ajok Agnes, who died on the 3rd of February 2018. Like others, she has become a statistic of this killer disease, which snatches its victims like a thief in the dark of the night. Her deceased daughter got nodding syndrome at 10 years while they were in a camp in Awere, Padel district.
She had improved a bit, but worsened on Friday.
She died on the 3rd February, 3 weeks after she was returned home from a care center, Hope for Humans in Odek, Omoro district. At the center, children used to get ample meals, proper care and treatment.
She got severe seizures and could not swallow medicine or eat food. She died on Saturday at around 2 a.m.
I also visited Obik village in Bolo parish in Omoro district. This is the home of 18-year-old Dennis Olara, who succumbed to nodding syndrome on the 22nd of December 2017. His caretakers at the center say that he had improved before he was taken home.
Olara Dennis, 18 years old, met his death on the 22nd of December 2017 in this very hut here. We are told by his siblings that at the time when he died, when they entered this hut in the morning, they found there was a blood stain on his bed as a result of the seizure that he got, and nobody could help him in the night.
Above the grass-thatched roof where Olara met his death hangs a hand-designed Christmas card sent to him. Yet he did not live to celebrate Christmas with the family. Olara could have survived if someone was in the house at the time he got a seizure. Robert Okot, a nurse in Awere sub-county, who has worked at a center that was handling children with nodding syndrome, revealed to us what happened.
Olara has to sleep in the hut alone. Since our culture, actual culture said, when you are matured, you are 18 years and above, you need to sleep alone, separated from the sisters.
I asked Sarah Pende, the State Minister for Health for General Duties, why government has not extended specific health services to combat nodding syndrome.
We have, over the years, taken steps, first of all, to manage the situation, because the children were actually in a very pathetic situation and state. So government, of course, specifically Ministry of Health, has been doing its bit, and that is really providing the necessary medication and also trying to investigate and understand exactly what the cause of this is.
I probed her further, demanding to know why there were deaths that could have been avoided if these children were given proper medical care.
I have not received that report. That is news to me. But of course, we should also note that there has been some confusion. Some cases being reported as nodding syndrome, but when investigations are done by our teams, it's found that actually it's epilepsy.
I asked Openda about allegations that some of the money allocated by government for the affected people is mismanaged.
Accountability has been a big challenge, because as we speak now, money is given in the financial year 2016-17 have not been accounted for by some districts. And because of that, we could not release money this financial year to any district.
Opend revealed to NTV that the current quarterly budget for those suffering from nodding syndrome in 7 districts is 80 million shillings. But this paltry allocation cannot offer medical care to these youngsters facing a bleak future in a country where billions of shillings are spent on superfluous foreign trips and workshops by senior government officials. Olara and Ajok could have survived if the nodding center at Kitgum General Hospital was functional. We went to Kitgum and found out that whereas many children continue to die in the villages, the center has only 3 patients, especially those with burns. One of the staff told NTV off record that government has not yet contracted a person to supply food. In December 2016, NTV visited the same center and found the same problem. The beds are gathering dust because most of the parents of the affected children do not have money to buy food while in this hospital. The Jofra Kena is the focal person in charge of nodding syndrome in Kitgum district.
We were told that you've not yet procured or you've not yet gotten a person to supply food to the people affected with nodding syndrome, especially those who are admitted at the center.
Yes, thank you. That is not true. In November 2016, we procured one called Sour Agro Dealers Limited. She has been supplying us all this time.
NTV, together with other well-wishers, collected food supplements, rice, posho, sugar and clothes, which were handed over to the Catholic Kitgum Mission to distribute to the affected people.
The little we have, we start with the so desperate. I mean, you just have to use your common sense and say, these people, if we don't share with them today, they may not live for tomorrow. Then the clothes, it will be the same. But if the clothes are too big, because you know the children we are dealing with, they don't pick up size very fast, we can arrange for them, teach them to do better trade.
There is evidence which shows that when the affected children are well fed and given anti-seizure drugs, they recover quickly. This is 24-year-old Neil Kidega in Tumangu village, Kitgum. In November 2016, he had lost weight and was getting crippled. Later, when his condition deteriorated, he was taken to Hope for Human Care Center, where he received proper care. A year later, this is how Kidega looks like. Jennifer Romrach from Tumangu was writhing in the throes of death at the time NTV visited her home in 2016. She was always tied on a pole before her frail grandmother went out to look for what to eat from neighbors. She was also taken to the care center, which closed a year after. A year later, we went back to Romrach's village to check on her and I was shocked to find her walking. She's now having mental and speech difficulties. She recently burnt down her 83 grandmother's only hut, leaving her to sleep in the neighbor's hut.
But when you look at it, the roof is already weak. What should be supporting the grass that is on top is the bamboo that has already been eaten up by ants. And as when you get inside, small as it might look, you get to see that on this side of the walls here, exactly like here, it shows you that it has been leaking before. It has been leaking, and that means if the rainy season sets in, it will be very, very easy for this whole place to flood with water. And even when you still look through here, it's so easy to see what is outside. That means she almost has no shelter.
This is how 16-year-old Vicky Lalam looked like a year ago. We drove to her home in Awere sub-county, Padel district. Her mother, 41-year-old Dorinato, said she got the syndrome in 2005 while in the IDP camp. She has improved. However, she can't stand because there was delay to take her to the care center.
If I don't carry her to hospital, I send someone with her medical records because she is heavy.
Her mother has a glimmer of hope.
The medicine is helping because the seizures have reduced and she can't even eat.
At night, people are always burning bushes, which envelop homesteads. Even daytime, the bushes are burnt, which forces Lalam to stay home and watch over her daughter to avoid an accident. One of the care centers in Tumang, owned by American doctor and philanthropist Suzanne Gazda, was the first to be closed. NSSF donated items which included beds worth 70 million shillings. Now, the beds which lie idle are gathering cobwebs.
These 30 beds, each one of them has a mattress and they're kept somewhere else. And that means each bed represents one child suffering from Northern syndrome. 15 girls, 15 boys. But they're here idle, not utilized. And anybody would expect that government would maybe take it from here and ensure that they put it to use, because there are very many children in the villages who have no access to medical care. And they would come to this facility and regain a hope of life.
That name is very symbolic. Tumangu. Even the beast is better. That's what the name means. I think it's a theme name for this whole situation.
In Odek sub-county, Omoro district, which is the birthplace of LRA warlord Joseph Kony, is another center which used to be owned by the same doctor. The compound where children used to play is now littered with cow dung after the center closed in November 2017. Before the center closed, the parents had a gleam of hope that their ailing children would escape the scourge of Northern syndrome. Deputy Speaker Jacob Oranya, who represents Omoro County, expressed disappointment over the closure.
We have pushed for monies in Parliament for government to set aside money to deal with this problem. We have pushed the Ministry of Finance on the floor of Parliament to set aside money to deal with this problem. There was a time that there used to be meetings in the Prime Minister's office. Almost every week there was a meeting about the Northern syndrome. But all these activities take place in Kampala. Parliament sits in Kampala. Multi-sectoral meetings take place in Kampala. All the important people take these decisions in Kampala. But nothing, essentially nothing, goes down to those affected communities. And that is the bit that I don't understand. So from the time that Dr. Suzanne indicated that she was going to leave, she stayed on for 8 more months and nobody did anything.
NTV has learned that the center's budget was $20,000, approximately 72 million shillings, which catered for food, salaries of the staff, outreach treatment, and medicine. In Akoyo village in Odek is the family of Joan Amoy, a mother of 6 children. Her 12-year-old son Francis Okello got the syndrome in 2011. The mother said that he sometimes gets seizures and mental problems. Her 3-year-old son Francis Ayang is also sick. She went to a health center on 12th February to find out what her son was suffering from. The doctors suspected nodding syndrome.
Barely before we finished the interview with Ayang Francis's mother, he slept off. When I came here, he was walking. But that is one of the other symptoms of nodding syndrome, where children just get drowsy from nowhere and then they sleep off. Sometimes when they persist and maybe continue playing or standing, we are told that they always fall down.
Ayang is on treatment for anti-seizure drugs. His mother broke down as she shared with us the ordeal of her sons.
I feel a lot of pain. This year, I won't do anything because I have to take care of my sick children.
She's worried because Amoy doesn't know who will be the next victim of the deadly disease, which causes a slow and agonizing death.
What is the Ministry of Finance bringing to Parliament now? Supplementary appropriation proposals for what? Electromax, Jacobson, generating power by fuel. I actually thought we had finished with this business. I thought we were generating enough power ourselves to meet all our electricity demands in this country. We are still seeking a supplementary to pay Jacobson, to pay Electromax, but no supplementary to help the people of Northern Uganda.
These children will gradually get crippled and die if they are not properly attended to.
And I'm here sitting in this office as Deputy Speaker. Simply has stopped making sense to me. All I feel is absolute frustration. And a government that does not care about its young people does not deserve its future.
At the peak of deaths attributed to nodding syndrome, many politicians from Northern Uganda speak out against government's meek response. Today, they have conspicuously gone silent. Olanya, who hails from the Acholi sub-region, told NTV that he has made efforts to ensure that the victims are helped by responsible ministries. However, his impassioned pleas have been in vain, and his frustration is captured in the tone of this interview.
When you look at those children, you cannot hold back your tears if you are still human. And the Ministry of Health is headed by doctors. What has become of the hypocritic oath? I thought they took oaths to save lives. Now they're in charge of departments of government to actually save lives. And they're not doing it. This is hardly the time to play politics. It's a time to save lives. So anybody who has money, anybody who has material support, food supplement, food materials, please come to our aid.
This is the roof of the hut where part of the family stays. It can hardly even protect someone from the sunshine. And that means if the sky is open, it could be very, very bad for the family, especially those who sleep inside here. And when you look aside here, on this side, the wall collapsed. And what is left there is a net that is a mosquito net that is acting as a wall. And when you go down here, this is where someone ends the night. Critics say that government has a lot of appetite for unnecessarily spending public resources, and if only that money could be committed to helping people, especially in Northern Uganda, who are suffering from nodding syndrome, by introducing poverty eradication programs, also committing some resources to find what causes nodding syndrome, because we understand that if you identify a disease, you're already halfway the cure, then these people could one time feel they belong to the nation that is called the Pearl of Africa. Sudhir Byaruhanga, NTV, Akoyo Village, Odek Sub-County in Omoro District.